In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection 332nd Ahsoka Clone Trooper. Hi there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper from the Clone Wars. Now, I've got to say, I honestly thought that we would have got this figure a long time ago, more in line with when the show came out, or at least when Ahsoka and Maul came out. Essentially, this was a really easy one for them to do. It's basically a 501st Clone Trooper with that Ahsoka's paint scheme on the helmet, just like they are in the show. That is basically what they are. So we're going to take a look at the card back very quickly. You can see there is two of them on this card back. You have one front and center and one just behind. And I know quite a lot of people aren't really into this sort of thing. I actually quite liked that in the show when they did that sort of mark of respect for Ahsoka and what have you, you know, showing her that they're backing her up and all that kind of stuff. And there it is on that Clone Wars card. Half decent card back, can't really grumble about it. It looks okay. It is what it is, with the blue background and blue on the name pill, of course, just like the 501st Clone Trooper itself. And on the back there we have VC248 with some of the other figures that are available at the time. Imported from Hong Kong, this one. Vintage Collection logo. And there it is, yeah. Now, there are some differences with the paint scheme on this figure compared to the 501st that we've recently got. So I'm going to go through those when we look at the figure outside of the packaging. And I think that's quite good, that it's not just the exact same figure with just a different helmet. They have actually changed the paint scheme up a little bit. So it's good for army building and things like that. So let's crack the figure open and take a look. All right then, so there he is out of the packaging. And as I mentioned, it's pretty much a 501st Clone Trooper with a different helmet. But I still think it looks pretty cool. As we know, they are using the sculpt from the VC248 Phase 1 Clone Trooper for the body with a Phase 2 clone helmet. And because of that, the legs are a little bit on the skinny side and the helmet is a little bit oversized. So I tend to like to display them without the helmet on like that, where he's holding it and it doesn't look so bad. But of course, with these guys and army building and such, you are going to want maybe 5 or 6 of these guys to make a reasonable army for any type of diorama, and for that you're going to want the helmets on them. So if it doesn't really bother you that much, the oversized helmet, then it's not really a problem. Now, I'm going to bring in the 501st Clone Trooper next to this guy because there are some quite major differences, actually, not in terms of the sculpt but in terms of the paint. And it's not only the battle damage marks and the weathering that they've put on him, it's the actual tone of blue as well. So let's do that now. Let's bring him in and you can see the difference. So there you go, you can really see the difference in blue. This one is what I would describe as more of like a royal blue, and this one is definitely more of like a, I don't know, like a navy blue or something, an Air Force blue perhaps. So there is really a big difference. I would always have thought that the 501st were actually more like this. I think this is possibly a bit more accurate, and of course he's got the Ahsoka 332nd helmet there, whereas this one's got the classic 501st. Underneath that helmet, the head is exactly the same as this guy. There is no differences whatsoever. I don't even need to take that helmet off to show you. Believe me, they are exactly the same. But I found it really interesting, the difference in blue that they've used. It's stark. However, looking past the blue, what I was going to mention is a few slight differences. As you can see on the 332nd, the battle damage or scarring on that blue is ever so slightly different to this one. If I just move the blaster out of the way of this guy, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So there you go. You can see that that scarring or little ninks within that blue are ever so slightly different. So they're not painted the same. And also with the shoulder armor as well, you can really see that the paint is different in places. The little sort of nicks and scars are completely different. Also, what's noticeable is that on this figure we have the blue around the wrist. You can't really see it on that one because it hasn't been painted thick enough, but if we move this guy around, you'll be able to see the blue around the wrist there. This guy doesn't have it at all, and I think he should have. I think to be accurate to the 501st, he needs that blue around the wrist. He certainly has it in the image of him on the card back. This guy's got it, so maybe they've corrected that. But as I say, the blues are completely different, which is a bit of a shame, really, for two figures that have been released so close together. That is a bit of a shame. Now to give you a really good close-up look at the head sculpt for the clone. And yeah, it's great. I love these new heads that they've got for these clone troopers. Really, really screen accurate in my opinion. And as I said, the head is exactly the same as the 501st. And there you can really see that blue. That is like a, as I say, like a real royal blue colour. Really, really bright and vibrant. Whereas the other one's a little bit more dull. As we just go down, you can see more of the figure. There's those blue around the wrists that I mentioned. You've got the blue all the way going down the legs and around the knee guards. Now, I'm not going to go through the articulation on this guy because this is the VC248 sculpt. There are so many videos out there, even on my channel, where I've reviewed figures that use this sculpt. So you're going to know all about the articulation. All you need to know is that it's got pretty much all the articulation you're going to need. It doesn't have the rocker ankles though, and it doesn't have the new style hips, which is a bit of a shame. But apart from that, it's, you know, modern articulation. And yeah, I just think it looks awesome. Let's have a look at the helmet. There's the helmet close up, and that looks awesome. Nice paintwork on that. And we'll just plonk it on the figure quick. Decent fit, but ever so slightly oversized. There he is. All the accessories that you get are exactly the ones that you would get with the 501st Clone Trooper. So you get the smaller blaster, this one here, and the bigger blaster on this one. And yes, they are pretty bendy as always. So there you go then, guys. That is the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while to come out in the vintage collection. And yeah, it's going to set off that season 7 of the Clone Wars pretty nicely. We've got a load of figures from there now, so that's pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members. And we'll see you on the next one.